Morning, everybody. Today is Friday, August the 7th. We're about a week away from being in classes, and got a couple weeks of summer band under our belt. And I'm happy to be coming to you today to not talk about COVID. I don't have any grand revelations about the school year, calendar, anything like that, as my previous videos have all done. Today, I'm going to talk about Disney World. As you can see, I am completely decked out here. What we do is, this is a big deal. It's going to cost a lot of money. And we feel like part of the fun is the buildup. Part of the excitement of all of this is the anticipation. It's the excitement. It's learning about it. And it's not just about that 1 week that we're actually gone to the parks. So one of the things we do in the years past is that we have a Disney Day. Every month we try to have a Disney Day. And because of our altered schedule for our summer band, we've not been able to have a Disney Day this during summer band here, which I normally do. So I thought, well, we'll do it on video. So if I do my Disney Day presentations on video, not only do you have them to reference, but I can share them with the parents. It's not just about what's going on at school, just the students, but parents, you can follow along and see what all we're talking about as far as get excited about this trip as well. Maybe some of you decide to join us because we do have extra seats on the bus. Normally, my first Disney presentation of the year is all about the parks themselves and what Disney World is. If your concept of Disney World is the castle, you're just scratching the surface. But today, instead, I'm going to talk about Disney pins. We always do a day talk about that. And the reason why is we give the pins to students as rewards and prizes and things. And we started that yesterday. Our students of the week, those who've been working hard, got some Disney pins. And so I wanted to talk about that a minute and explain that exactly what that is, show you that, and go from there. So everything at Disney World is expensive, right? That's not going to be a surprise to anybody. You're going to pay a couple of bucks for a Coke. You're going to pay 20 to 30 plus for a t-shirt. This was a gift. I don't know how much it was. But we don't want the cost of the trip for our students, which is $1,100, is all inclusive. Now, you don't actually have to have any more money on the trip. That's food, that's everything, and it does include some souvenirs. Obviously, you want to have something to remember your trip by. One thing it comes with is mouse ears, and these are the mouse ears that everyone will get. It says on here, Disney Performing Arts, and everyone will get one of these. In fact, we'll wear them in the parade. We're not going to take hats at the parade. We will wear our mouse ears on the parade. There are stores in Disney World that for a cost, of course, you can get them embroidered on the back. You can get things put on your mouse ears. But everybody's going to get their very own pair of mouse ears. So that was mine from the last trip. And then we are giving, like I said, we're giving the students pins. And throughout the year, we're going to make sure everybody gets one. Those who do great on the fundraiser, those who pass off their music first, students of the week, section of the week, once we get into the football games, we'll all get these Disney pins. And so what you want to do is you want to save those, put them in a safe place, and you'll take them with you to Disney. Okay, so what are Disney pins? Well, they're exactly what they sound like. Disney pins are pins. That is a pin. And on the back, there's a little sticker thing that you can stick it onto your shirt or other clothing items and wear it around. This is my 2020 pin that I got last February when our family went. We got got to go before the world came to an end in March. This is a fancy one, right? Because it moves and all that kind of stuff. And we'll talk about costs and things like that later. The pins that we're giving away are ones that we bought for the kids in mass. And so they're not terribly fancy. Can't even get my fingers out of the way of that one. There we go. All right. But you can trade these at Disney World for fancier pins by the cast members. All of the cast members, and that's Disney speak for employee, okay? All the cast members are wearing lanyards, or they've got a little felt pouch, or they've got a little felt thing sitting on the counter next to them if you're at a store that have pins pinned to them. And you can trade your pin for one of theirs. Disney pins have been around forever. I don't know how long, but I read that they, in 1999, for the Millennium Celebration, is when it really took off. They started pin trading events, and you'll see them sometimes at Disney World. People with huge tables of pins where you can trade pins with people and things like that. And those are people looking for specific sets or characters and things like that. We've never participated in anything like that in my family. We just like to get some souvenir pins when we go. In fact, I'll show you what we've done in the past, and then you see what we have now. But there are some rules to it. You can't just reach up and say, "Hey, let me see your pins." But you may ask a cast member politely if you can see the pins they've got on, if you see one you think is pretty cool. And they are required to trade with you. If you have an official Disney pin, can't just be anything. If you have an official Disney pin, which these are, you can ask to trade, and they have to trade with you. That's a thing. Now, if they're busy or something like that, that's no good. If you're in a long line of people at a restaurant or something like that, don't ask to see someone's pin. But if you catch a cast member off to the side and you've got a minute and you want to see their pins, you see something you like, they will trade with you. You're only allowed to trade one at a time, and you can only trade with the same person twice in a day. So you could always come back if you saw two pins you liked. But you can trade up for cooler pins. So we're giving you kind of really basic, simple little pins, but you can trade up for some of the fancier things. So I want to show you some of those now. So another thing everyone is going to get is a lanyard. These are unique travel and tour lanyards that all the students will get, and that is so they can hold their ticket in it. This is my ticket from 1 year. There's my ticket from this particular one's from our very first year. That was one of our meal cards. Everyone gets meal cards that they can only spend on food. That way we know they're not going to go hungry. They're not going to waste all their money on souvenirs. We give them food tickets that they can spend on food. So I had an extra one left over. But these are the lanyards. Everybody gets a lanyard. And then these are the pins that I got on our very first Disney trip, 2009. Okay. And I usually get one for the year and one from each park. That was just, I think somebody got that one for me. Star Wars pin. It's got a Stitch. And then this one was to commemorate our performance as Magic Music Days at Disney World. And so that was for our performance. I actually didn't get one on the next trip. This was from 2017, our last trip we took. A lot of, again, Animal Kingdom. I like to get them this was Teacher's Day. I like to get them for new rides. This was the first year I had ridden the new Frozen ride, so I got a pin for that. Again, I always get a Stitch pin. Pirates of the Caribbean. Duh. Now this lanyard over here is a Disney lanyard. It was purchased. And when you purchase Disneyland, you can get these little medallions that go on the bottom of them, and they're special cards and things like that. And this is my official Stitch lanyard. When I first started pin collecting, I got all things Stitch, as you can see. But there are other ways to save pins besides the lanyards. These are our pin books. We have 3 books. And this is decades worth of collecting now for my whole family. We've got them kind of arranged by types. This is Figment, which you will meet in Epcot. These are some Star Wars pins, and now this was way back before Star Wars became a new thing. This was, I think some of these even predate the prequel trilogy. So now there's way more Star Wars stuff because you've got the Star Wars land in the studios. So there's tons of Star Wars stuff if you are into those. Muppets. I'm a fan of that. Special days, tax days. Darlene used to work for a tax attorney. Halloween, things like that. What else? Pirates. When the first Pirate of the Caribbean movie came out, there were all the pirates. I mean, I guess it's kind of the second one there. But we got pirate stuff. This book over here, all the Mickeys. Of all our Mickey Mouse things. Now, like any good addiction, this can become very addictive. These are rides. Boy, can become expensive quick. And that's why we wanted to give you guys some pins that you could have and trade around without having to spend a lot of money. If you become addicted and decide to start spending money, the pins start at around $6 to $7, and they top out around $15 these days. A lot of these were a lot cheaper than that when we started. This was when they first introduced the Stitch ride in the Magic Kingdom, so they put Stitch into all these different rides. Some more Star Wars things, ride things. They come up with pins to honor just about anything. There's a Memorial Day pin. I like music ones, as you might imagine. This is not a Disney pin, but I made a donation to the Conservation Fund, and they gave me that big pin, and that's where I keep it. These pins here came from a pin set. You can buy complete sets of pins. They're meant to represent the old style tickets that you used to have to use to get into the park. Here's some really fancy pins that open up, you have things inside them. I mean, it just goes on and on. I don't remember what that cost, but I'm sure that one was very much on the expensive side. For pins, I mean, it was cheaper than a t-shirt, but I'm sure it was still pretty expensive. These little things move. I mean, lots of pins have little moving parts and things like that. Movie pins, movie tie-ins. Princess and the Frog. And then we honestly have some pins. And we honestly have some pins down in bags that we have not even put in books yet. We've slowed down on it quite a bit. We're not quite as addicted as we used to be. Usually just get the pin that represents the year that we're there, maybe about 1 or 2 pins, and that's about it. But as you can see, we used to go pretty nuts with it. And you can spend a lot of money before you realize it collecting those pins. But like I said, the great thing is we're going to give the kids those little collectible pins, and then they can trade, and they can have some pretty neat souvenirs to bring home at no cost to themselves whatsoever. So, we're going to talk more about the hidden costs of Disney World and things like that in another episode. So I'm going to be doing these little things once a month at least, and so I'll have my little Disney video log going on, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's informative to you, get you excited about the trip. That's the whole point, is to get everyone excited, inspire everybody to get out there and fundraise, of course. Not that you can't just write a check for it if you want to, but our goal is not to ask that of families. We don't want to put that burden on families. We know many of you have multiple siblings in band. So we don't want to put that on you. We want to give the students as many opportunities to earn that trip to Disney World as possible. Right now we're in the middle of the restaurant card, and all they got to do is get out there and ask, because they're going like hotcakes. A lot of teachers have been asking about them this week. So just a little aside, but that's kind of the point. I want to inspire everybody to get out there and fundraise. It's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime trip. Even for those of you who have been to Disney World, I tell the kids, hey, you'll never get to go to Disney World with 60 of your best friends again. So it's going to be a great year. we're going to make it through all the weirdness, and we're looking forward to a fabulous trip next spring. So I will see you on the next episode of Disney Videos.